I'm Ethan, 34 years old, living in a quiet suburb just outside Chicago. I've got a regular job as a project manager at a construction firm. Nothing glamorous, but it pays the bills and keeps things steady. My wife Sarah and I have been together for 7 years, married for 5, and we have this amazing little boy named Noah who's 4 now. He's got this wild energy, always running around the backyard, chasing butterflies or kicking a ball that's almost as big as he is. Our house is this cozy 2-bedroom place with a small porch where we'd sit in the evenings, watching the sunset while Noah played. Sarah's a part-time graphic designer, working from home on her laptop, creating logos and ads for local businesses. She's always been creative, sketching ideas on napkins or turning our living room into a makeshift studio with papers scattered everywhere. Life felt pretty good back then. We'd wake up to Noah's giggles, make breakfast together, pancakes on weekends, cereal during the week. I'd head off to work, kissing Sarah goodbye, and she'd wave from the door with Noah in her arms. Evenings were family time, dinner around the table talking about our days, then bath time for Noah, storybooks and tucking him in. Sarah and I would collapse on the couch afterward, maybe watch a show or just talk about nothing important. We had our ups and downs like any couple, arguments over money or who forgot to take out the trash, but we always made up. I thought we were solid, you know? The kind of couple that friends envied, always laughing, always there for each other. And then there was my best friend, Jake. We'd known each other since high school, bonding over basketball games and late-night video game sessions. He was the guy who stood up as my best man at our wedding, the one who helped us move into our house, carrying boxes and cracking jokes the whole time. Jake was single, working in sales, always on the go with some new adventure or date story to tell. He'd come over often, bringing pizza or beer, and we'd hang out in the garage, tinkering with my old car or just shooting the breeze. Sarah got along with him great too. They'd tease me about my bad taste in music or how I couldn't cook to save my life. It was comfortable, familiar. Jake was like the uncle Noah never had, always spoiling him with toys or taking him for ice cream runs. I never once doubted his loyalty. Why would I? He was my brother from another mother. Those days, everything seemed perfect on the surface. We'd have barbecues in the summer, inviting neighbors over, with Jake manning the grill because he was the only one who could make burgers without burning them. Sarah would make her famous potato salad, and Noah would run around with the other kids, his face smeared with ketchup. I'd look around and think, this is it. This is the life I always wanted. But looking back, there were tiny cracks I didn't see, like how Sarah would sometimes zone out during conversations, her mind elsewhere, or how Jake's visits started feeling a bit more frequent, his laughs a little louder when Sarah was around. But I brushed it off. Life was busy, stressful. Who has time to overanalyze every little thing? One particular memory sticks out from that time. It was our anniversary, 5 years married. I surprised Sarah with tickets to a concert, her favorite band from college. We got a babysitter, dressed up a bit, and headed downtown. The night was magical. The music blasting, us dancing like we were young again, her head on my shoulder during the slow songs. On the way home, she turned to me and said, "Ethan, I love this life we've built." I squeezed her hand, feeling on top of the world. But even then, her phone buzzed in her purse and she checked it quickly, a small smile flickering before she put it away. I didn't think anything of it. Why would I? It was probably just a work email or a friend texting. That's how blind I was. As the months went on, those small moments started adding up, though I didn't realize it yet. Sarah began spending more time on her phone, scrolling through social media or texting back and forth with someone. I'd ask who it was, and she'd say, "Just a client," or "My sister checking in." Her answers were casual, but there was something in her tone that felt off, like she was holding back. And Jake? He started sharing more stories about his dating life, but oddly, they tapered off. Instead, he'd ask about Sarah, how her work was going, if she needed help with anything around the house while I was at work. It seemed helpful, friendly. I even thanked him once for being such a good guy. Noah was the glue holding everything together. That kid could light up any room with his questions. "Daddy, why is the sky blue?" Or, "Can we get a puppy?" We'd take him to the park on Sundays, pushing him on the swings, watching him climb the jungle gym like a little monkey. Sarah and I would sit on a bench, her head leaning on my shoulder, and I'd feel content. But even there, I'd catch her glancing at her phone, typing quick replies. Once, I peeked over and saw Jake's name pop up, but she locked the screen before I could read anything. "Just Jake saying hi," she said with a laugh. I laughed too, but inside a tiny seed of doubt was planted. What could they be talking about that often? I remember one night, after a long day at work, I came home to find Jake already there, helping Sarah fix a leaky faucet in the kitchen. Noah was playing with his trucks on the floor, and they were chatting away, tools spread out on the counter. "Hey man, perfect timing," Jake said, wiping his hands. Sarah smiled at me, but her cheeks were a bit flushed. "Jake's a lifesaver," she added. We all had dinner together that night, like old times, but as I watched them interact, easy banter, shared glances, I felt this weird distance, like I was missing something right in front of me. Still, I pushed it down. Trust was the foundation of everything we had. Or so I thought. Little did I know. Those normal days were numbered. The storm was brewing, and I was about to get caught in it without an umbrella.
As time passed, that seed of doubt started to sprout, even if I tried to ignore it. Sarah's behavior shifted in ways that were hard to pinpoint at first. She'd always been affectionate, quick with hugs or kisses, but now those moments felt rarer, more forced. I'd reach for her hand while we watched TV, and she'd hold it for a second before pulling away to check her phone. The smiles she gave her screen were warmer than the ones she gave me sometimes. I started waking up in the middle of the night to find her side of the bed empty, the faint light from downstairs telling me she was up again, working on her laptop. One morning over coffee, I tried to bring it up casually. "You've been up late a lot lately. Everything okay with work?" She looked up from her mug, her eyes flickering with something I couldn't read. "Yeah, just a big project. Deadlines are killing me." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I nodded, accepting it, but the knot in my stomach tightened. Work had never kept her up like this before. And why was her phone always face down on the table now, like she was hiding something? Jake's presence became more constant too. He'd text me about coming over, but sometimes I'd get home and find him already there, chatting with Sarah in the kitchen or helping Noah build a fort out of blankets. "Hey Ethan, hope you don't mind. I swung by early," he'd say with that easy grin. Sarah would laugh it off, saying he was a big help. But I started noticing the little things. How their conversations would quiet when I entered the room. How Jake's eyes would linger on her a second too long. One afternoon, I overheard them talking in low voices while I was in the garage. I couldn't make out the words, but the tone was intimate, familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. When I walked in, they jumped apart, Jake clearing his throat and Sarah busying herself with dishes. I tried to shake it off by planning more family time. We took a trip to the zoo one weekend. Noah was obsessed with the monkeys, jumping up and down, pointing at them, swinging from branches. Sarah seemed engaged, taking pictures, holding my hand as we walked. But her phone kept buzzing, and each time she'd check it, her expression would soften. "Who is it?" I asked once, trying to sound light. "Just Jake sending a funny video," she replied, showing me a clip of a cat falling off a counter. It was innocent enough, but why was he texting her directly? Why not me? The doubts grew during quiet moments. At work, I'd find myself staring at my computer, replaying scenes in my head, like the time Sarah said she was going shopping but came home hours later than expected, her hair a bit disheveled. Or when Jake canceled plans with me last minute, saying he had a work thing, only for Sarah to mention later that she'd run into him at the coffee shop. Coincidences, I told myself. But they piled up, each one adding weight to that knot in my gut. I even talked to my sister about it over the phone one night. "Am I being paranoid?" I asked. She paused, then said, "Ethan, if something feels off, trust your instincts, but talk to her before jumping to conclusions." I wanted to, but fear held me back. What if I was wrong? What if accusing her ruined everything? Then came the night that pushed me over the edge. I was working late, but finished early and decided to surprise Sarah with takeout. As I pulled into the driveway, I saw Jake's car parked there. No big deal, I thought. He comes over all the time, but when I walked in quietly, the house was dim, Noah already in bed. I heard voices from the living room, low and murmuring. Peeking around the corner, I saw them on the couch, close, Sarah's hand on Jake's arm as they laughed softly. It wasn't overtly wrong, but the intimacy hit me like a punch. I cleared my throat, stepping in, and they sprang apart. "Ethan, you're home early," Sarah said, her voice high. Jake stood up quickly, mumbling about heading out. After he left, Sarah hugged me, but I felt stiff. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't sleep. Something was wrong, and I needed to know what. The next day, while Sarah was out with Noah at a playdate, I did something I never thought I would. I picked up her phone. She'd left it charging on the counter. The passcode was our anniversary, easy. I opened her messages, heart pounding. Scrolling through, I saw the thread with Jake. At first, it was normal, plans for hangouts, funny memes. But as I went back, the tone changed. Flirty comments, emojis that suggested more. "Can't wait to see you," Jake wrote. "Miss your smile," Sarah replied. My hands shook. Was this real? I put the phone down, feeling sick, but I needed more. I couldn't confront them yet, not without solid proof. From then on, I watched everything. Sarah's late nights, Jake's visits, the secret smiles. I even checked our bank app, noticing small charges for coffees and lunches I didn't remember. One was for a hotel cafe downtown. My mind raced. Were they meeting there? I hated myself for thinking it, but the evidence was mounting. The normal life I'd cherished was cracking, and I was terrified of what I'd find beneath. The doubts consumed me, turning every day into a tense waiting game. I couldn't eat, couldn't focus at work. My boss even asked if I was okay. I mumbled something about family stuff, but inside I was unraveling. Sarah noticed too, asking if I was stressed, but her concern felt hollow now. I smiled through it, but my mind was always on those messages I'd glimpsed. I needed proof, something undeniable. So one evening while Sarah was bathing Noah, I logged into our shared iCloud on my laptop. We'd set it up for photos years ago, but it synced everything. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, guilt mixing with desperation. I clicked on messages, searching for Jake's name. The thread loaded, and my world tilted. Hundreds of texts going back months. I scrolled, each one a dagger. They started innocent. Jokes about me, plans for group hangouts. But then, "You looked beautiful today," Jake wrote. "Thanks. You make me blush," Sarah replied with a heart emoji. Deeper. "Wish I could hold you right now. Soon, when Ethan's at work." My breath caught. They were planning meetups, describing stolen moments. One message detailed a lunch that turned into something more at a park. "That kiss was electric," Jake said. Sarah, "Can't stop thinking about it." Photos too, selfies of them together, arms around each other, in places I recognized but never knew they'd been. I felt nauseous, slamming the laptop shut. How long? Why? I paced the room, tears stinging my eyes, but anger pushed through. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I downloaded a tracking app, syncing it to Sarah's phone the next day while she napped. It was hidden, showing her location in real time. I hated becoming this person, but the betrayal had already changed me. The opportunity came soon. Sarah said she was meeting a client downtown on Thursday. "Won't be late," she promised, kissing me goodbye. Noah waved from his high chair. I opened the app after she left. Her dot headed straight to a hotel, not her client's office. My heart raced. I called my mom to watch Noah, then drove there, parking nearby. Waiting felt eternal, my mind spinning with scenarios. Finally, the lobby doors opened. Sarah emerged, Jake beside her, his hand on her lower back. They laughed, heading to his car. He pulled her close, kissing her deeply before they drove off. I snapped photos from afar, evidence burning in my phone. Tears blurred my vision as I drove home, the world crumbling. That night, Sarah came back cheerful, talking about her meeting. I nodded, stomach churning. I couldn't confront her yet, needed to process, but the pain was raw. Every touch from her now a lie. I slept on the couch that night, claiming a headache. The next days were torture. I gathered more, bank statements showing hotel charges, emails confirming reservations. One email from Jake to Sarah. Can't wait for our getaway. It was dated for a weekend I'd been away. Everything clicked. The lies, the distance, my best friend and wife destroying me. I decided to confront Jake first. I texted him to meet at a bar saying I needed advice. He showed up, clueless, ordering beers. We chatted casually at first, but then I pulled out my phone, showing the messages, the photos, the tracking data. His face went ashen. Ethan, he stammered. How long? I demanded, voice low. A few months. It just happened. We didn't mean to hurt you. He tried excuses. Sarah felt neglected. I worked too much. But it was bullshit. You're my brother, I said, voice breaking. How could you? He had no answer, just apologies. I told him to stay away. Forever. Walking out, I felt hollow, the friendship dead. Now the hardest part loomed, facing Sarah. The truth was out, but the storm was just beginning. After confronting Jake, I drove home in a daze, the weight of it all crushing me. Sarah was there, playing with Noah, the picture of normalcy. I sent Noah to his room with a toy, then faced her in the kitchen. We need to talk, I said, my voice steady but cold. She looked up, concern in her eyes. What's wrong? I pulled out my phone, showing the messages first. Her face paled as she scrolled, tears welling. Ethan, I can explain. Explain? I cut in, showing the photos from the hotel, the bank charges. Explain this? She collapsed into a chair, sobbing. It was a mistake, Jake and I. We got close, you were always working, I felt lonely. She begged, saying it started with talks, escalated to more. I love you, not him. We can fix this. But her words rang hollow. You betrayed me with my best friend. How do I fix that? I shouted, anger boiling over. Noah peeked in, scared, so I lowered my voice, but the pain poured out. The lies, the secrets, how they'd made a fool of me. Sarah cried harder, apologizing, promising therapy, anything. But trust was shattered. Pack your things, I said. Go stay with your sister. She pleaded as she packed, hugging Noah goodbye, telling him Mommy would be back soon. Watching her leave, car pulling away, I felt empty. Noah asked where she went and I held him close, saying Mommy needed time away but we'd be okay. The house felt ghostly quiet that night. I called my lawyer the next day, starting divorce proceedings. Sarah called constantly, texts begging for another chance. Jake too, but I blocked him. Friends heard through the grapevine, some shocked, others supportive. My sister came over, helping with Noah, listening as I vented. Weeks blurred. Court dates, custody talks. Sarah fought at first, but evidence of the affair weakened her case. I got primary custody, her visits supervised at first. Seeing her with Noah was hard, but for him, I stayed civil. One twist came when I learned more. A mutual friend confessed seeing them together months earlier, but stayed silent to not hurt me. It stung, but confirmed I wasn't crazy. Then Sarah admitted in a letter that Jake pursued her, but she let it happen. It didn't change anything. Betrayal was betrayal. The climax hit during a mediation session. Sarah broke down, admitting everything, saying Jake dumped her after I found out, calling it too real. She looked broken, but I felt no pity, only resolve. We signed papers, ending our marriage. Walking out, I felt a strange freedom mixed with grief. The confrontation had ripped everything apart, but it was the start of something new. Noah and I would rebuild, stronger. With the divorce finalized, life became a new kind of normal. One without Sarah's daily presence, without Jake's friendship. Noah and I settled into routines. Mornings with cartoons and cereal. Evenings with homework and bedtime stories. He asked about Mommy often at first, his little face confused. I'd hug him, explain as best I could, that sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, but love never stops. Sarah's visits were awkward, but she tried, bringing toys, reading to him. For Noah's sake, I kept the peace, but inside, the hurt lingered. I threw myself into work, earning a promotion that meant more stability. But nights were tough. The empty bed, the quiet house echoing memories. I started therapy, spilling everything to a counselor who listened without judgment. She helped me see patterns, How I'd ignored signs to preserve the illusion of happiness. How betrayal wasn't my fault. "Rebuild trust in yourself first," she said. I did, slowly, joining a gym, running miles to clear my head, rediscovering hobbies like fishing that I'd neglected. Friends rallied around us. My buddy Mark invited us to barbecues, his kids playing with Noah. My coworker Lisa became a confidant, sharing her own divorce story over coffee. I even started dating again, casually, a woman named Emily from Noah's school events. Nothing serious, but her kindness reminded me good people exist. Word got back that Sarah struggled, moved in with her sister, quit freelancing for a steady job. Jake? He left town, job transfer, rumors of more affairs. Their love fizzled fast without the secrecy. Sarah reached out once, apologizing deeply, saying she'd learned her lesson. I forgave, sort of. Not for her, but to free myself. "Take care," I replied, and meant it. Noah thrived, surprisingly resilient. We took trips, a weekend camping where he roasted marshmallows and stared at stars, asking big questions. "Daddy, will Mommy come back?" I'd say, "We're a team now, buddy, you and me." His smiles healed me bit by bit. Looking back, the betrayal was an earthquake, shaking my foundation. I lost my wife, my best friend, the life I knew. But from the ruins, I built something stronger. I learned trust isn't blind. It's earned, and self-trust is key. Listen to your gut. Value yourself. Don't ignore red flags. Life's twists can break you, but they can also remake you. Noah and I, we're proof of that. We're okay, more than okay. We're moving forward one day at a time.